Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a May energy update. I honestly haven't really tuned into May at all yet, so we'll see what comes through. And I'll do a part one here and then probably, finish it out in the membership. If you're not already a member of the Channel Collective, it's my monthly membership, and if you like these videos, you will probably love that because I do daily videos in there as well. So what do we need to know for May? Big month, isn't it always? Lots of change energy, lots of things, this came through in the last video, but things are finally really going to hit the physical realm. And that can feel almost like a destabilizing energy because things are really going to get rooted in the physical. It feels like the energy is new technology coming in. Take that as an energy of like new technology coming in. So new ways of doing things, new inspiration, and that could be in your personal life, that could be in your career, but it's just sort of like they're showing me, a door opening it looks like a door opening to utopia. It's interesting, almost like, oh, there's all this technology and innovation. And I just think about that on an energetic perspective rather than literally. It might be very literal, but it's more of, whoa, there's a whole new world. There's a whole other way of seeing things, of doing things. It feels like there's going to be one or two important people in particular that are going to kind of drop into your reality and really shift the way that you view things, whether that is a public figure, somebody that you are finding through the internet or social media, or somebody in your personal life. I feel like you're really going to meet some people who surprise you, and you're going to realize, oh, I'm really a vibrational match for this person now. And it just feels like there's going to be a big shift in perspective from that person in particular. So just off the bat, but it really has been, in this like sort of portal we're in, which is really interesting with the eclipse on the 30th, and then, the 5/5 portal coming up. We're just in a lot of interesting energies, and there's a lot going on astrologically, and it's a very much like a tower moment, like things crumbling, things crashing, and on the other side of that really is everything that you've been wanting. So they're just showing me someone like kind of floating around in this sea of emotions, and you kind of just got to be in it. You kind of just got to be in it. What else can you tell us? Let's just start with some no. Okay, well, so we have the 7th house, which is long-term relationships, long-term significant partners, romantic, business, or family. Libra card. This energy is diplomatic and gracious. It seeks harmony and balance in relationships. And we have Chiron, good old Chiron. Chiron will get you your healing power, empathy, and ability to teach or learn remedies. And with Chiron, it's really like these deep lessons that we're here to learn. Is also ends up being, it makes us, and it also informs how we teach, how we move through the world, and kind of the example we're setting for others. So it's like that deep wound that is really also our healer. That's really the Chiron energy. And so if we have 7th house energy, so long-term relationships. And so this goes back to, a lot of relationships have really been falling apart recently. And if you feel like you're dating and it just keeps getting sabotaged, or there's like this energy of, I don't know if sabotage is the right word, you just keep feeling like it's blowing up in your face because you're trying to do it the logistic way, you're trying to like think about it. It feels like you're dating different versions of the same person, and they're basically trying to force you to have a completely different energy into your life, and there's a lot of that divine intervention going on. So that person is going to drop in for you, and so that's why every time you're trying to like force it to work or have it happen like the standard way, or maybe what worked for you before in relationships, it's just going to kind of blow up in your face. So if you're feeling really frustrated with dating right now because you just feel like it just feels like it keeps not working. Like you just keep trying and it keeps not working. And maybe it starts off and it seems great and you're like, what is going on? Is there something wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with you, but it feels like you're trying to date from the old version of you and you're trying to do it in the way that maybe worked before that's more logical. There's something bigger going on, and they're basically like, literally sit back, surrender, hold your vibration, and allow the divine to just bring that person to you, because it's a lot of the resistance right now that is kind of blocking it. But this month in particular, there's going to be some big shift. You might meet that person, or it feels like there are people who have been kind of like watching in the it's like this energy of someone coming out of the woodwork. So that could be somebody from your past who's completely shifted. I feel like there's a lot of that going on. You're seeing them in a new way, they've changed, or somebody you never would have expected. It just feels like the energy has been percolating, something's been around you, and now it's actually coming to the physical. And so long-term relationships, and this is also about trusting. So a lot of what we're healing this month in particular is like healing a lot of trust issues. So this goes back to the Libra energy and like balance and partnership, and where have you been blocking yourself in your career, in friendships, in romantic relationships, because you have trust issues, and you you don't trust other people. You think that people are out to get you. This is really like bringing up those relationship wounds, and where we're adjusting ourselves to make other people more comfortable, where we're not really asking for what we need or what we want because we don't want to be too much, where we are afraid to be fully, deeply seen. So a lot of the relationship wounds and wounds just in partnership in general, and that will come out in all aspects of our life, are really going to have an opportunity to be healed this month, particularly because new opportunities, new people, new experiences are going to drop in that are going to allow you to see, oh, I had expectations and assumptions around how relationships work just based off of my conditioning and what I've experienced in the past. And now I'm seeing that it actually doesn't have to look that way. I'm seeing that I can actually be supported and seen and loved, and there doesn't have to be drama, and people can really just honor me for who I am and really meet me there. Like, it just feels like a lot of those wounds are going to have an opportunity to be healed, but you have to allow yourself to go into that experience. And when new people come in, we have to actually like allow ourselves to receive that. So the question is, can you receive that love? Can you receive that support? Because there can be opportunities for us to shift patterns, to heal wounds, to shift the energy, but we have to take them. We have to co-create that, right? And if we're just going to block away any new experiences or any new relationships, well, then don't be surprised that when nothing changes. So a lot of healing energy, it feels like there are some tender spots in relationship. And for some of you, that's going to really be in business partnerships, and where do you not trust other people and think everybody's out to get you and it's competitive. For other people, it's going to be in friendships. There's going to be some family stuff too. I feel like there's going to be a lot of healing in the family realm, whatever that looks like, right? And romantic. So this could show up in any area of your life, but it really is about like, where do I feel? Where is this imbalance of energy in partnerships in my life? And that's going to look different for different people. So it'll resonate differently, depending on what's showing up for you. But it really is allowing us to see where we still have wounds or expectations or assumptions in terms of partnership, and allowing ourselves to fully give and fully receive love, and to actually trust that we deserve that, to trust that we can have that, to trust that we can speak our truth and be heard, and for that to be received well. So there are going to be some really beautiful opportunities coming in, and it just feels like, in relationship, things are really going to come back, they're going to come back into harmony if we allow that. And there's going to be a coming together of people that it's a long-term energy. It's 7th house energy. So like, who really are my people? That's going to get anchored in this month. Okay, what else do we... We have the Sun card. Your purpose, destiny, personality, 8th house, transformational area of your life, shared resources and emotions, right? And so this goes back to that giving, receiving, balance kind of energy in partnership. And it goes with this Pluto, like big transformation energy. I feel like, everything's going to really recalibrate. Everything that you've been asking for, manifesting, desiring, oh, I wish that this was different. I wish I had this type of person. Like, you've been asking for it. And now it's going to drop in this month, and it's going to hit you like, oh, whoa, I wanted this. And now I'm faced with it. And I'm actually kind of triggered. Because now I'm realizing that this relationship isn't serving me because I'm having that comparison, or I'm really triggered because now I'm realizing I wanted that. And I actually feel uncomfortable receiving this amount of love and support, or actually feel uncomfortable being seen this deeply, even though that's what I've been saying I've been craving. So it feels like hitting that kind of energy, for sure. We have the Virgo card. Dutiful, hesitant, humble. I really feel like it's a building energy. It's a building of new relationships, or even rebuilding of old relationships from a healed space. That's the opportunity here. So it is that building energy. And it's like, oh, we can build this relationship of whatever sort from the solid foundation. And I haven't had that experience before. A lot of what we've been calling in is really going to drop in. And with that, it's like facing this mirror of like everything I have been looking for is right in front of me. And am I willing to take it? And also in that, realizing where we've been living in illusions. Like, we're really going to be faced with, oh, I'm realizing where I have been settling, also where I have not been living my truth, where I have not been the fullest version of me, where I've basically been this adjusted version of me so that it worked in the current relationships that I have. Is that making sense? And then you're going to have these new experiences drop in and realize, oh, who I am in this dynamic, I feel free. I feel liberated. I feel like the fullest version of me. And be like, oh, whoa, this is me in my truth. And it's this really weird thing where we can have these dynamics that bring out our most authentic selves. And then we look back and we're like, whoa, I didn't even realize I wasn't my most authentic self in this dynamic. And then when we actually start acting as our most authentic self, because now we've basically opened that up, people who knew us before are like, what are you doing? Right? Because they're used to how we were. And there's going to be that push-pull. It really is going to hit your ego hard, because you're basically going to be, it feels like there's this choosing almost of being my fullest expression, my most authentic self, versus staying comfortable in old relationships. Am I willing to trigger other people? Am I willing to trigger, I like this. Okay, so we have the Cat card, independence, healthy boundaries. I love this card. This card is all about learning to love, be in relationship of all sorts with healthy boundaries. And we're really rewiring the way that we relate in terms of all forms of relationships, of realizing where we've been in codependency, or where we've been, adjusting ourselves for other people, all those places where we have not been maintaining our most authentic frequency in these dynamics. And so it feels like this space of everything is kind of falling apart, and I'm taking the time to recollect and think about what I need, how I want to move through my day and my life, and what makes me feel stabilized, and what my healthy boundaries are in terms of my personal time, my time with friends and family. It just feels like sorting that out and really taking care of yourself. And then from that balanced place, now I'm going to re-enter all sorts of relationships and uphold those boundaries. And it's shifting the whole dynamic of the relationships. Then we have the love card. So love coming in, and the communication card. So this goes back to that Chiron energy, 7th house. This is where it's all tying together, because it really is testing our communication. It is, can I be a crystal clear communicator in all of my relationships and with myself? So you're really going to be pushed to have conversations that maybe needed to be had, and also realizing where we've been wanting everybody else to be a better communicator, but let's look in the mirror, and where is that being reflected? Where am I not being a great communicator? Where do I have unspoken expectations of somebody? I mean, is that fair to them, versus what do I need to just get out? What do I need to express where I'm not feeling fully supported or seen? Can I express that and say, hey, this is actually how I receive support. This would be feel good for me. Just really learning to express what we need, what makes us feel good, and also express where we're not feeling good. And we're really going to realize, like, again, where we've been living in these illusions, which is what we do is we make stories up in our heads. We make stories up about certain people and why they are the way they are, and that they're feeling this way, and this is why they're feeling this, and they're going to do that. Like, we make up all of these stories instead of just asking people, or instead of just communicating, hey, this is how I'm feeling, or this is what I'm thinking. Is that true? Or like, how do you feel about that? What feels good for you? This is feeling wonky for me. Is it feeling wonky for you? You know, and there's always that moment of relief. There have been so many things that I'm like, look, I'm just going to say it first. I tend to be the person that just says it first. and pretty much every single time, well, I know at least on my end, there's always relief. And I would say like 95% of the time, whatever I'm feeling, like, you know what, can I just speak to the elephant in the room? The other person is like, you know what, I felt like something was weird too. Let's just talk about it, right? And this is how we actually give space for the truth to rise to the surface, you know. And part of this communication is like where we have these opportunities to face, to see, to express our most authentic selves. And then can we communicate from that place, right? Can we, when we're realizing these gaps between how we were living and what's really feeling good for us, do we have the courage and bravery to communicate, hey, these are the shifts I'm making in my life, and this is why, this is what I need. There are going to be some hard conversations, and some conversations that we think are going to be hard that are actually going to be super liberating and exciting. They're like literally showing me a butterfly bursting out of the cocoon, or is it the chrysalis? I don't know. Are they the same? I should probably know that, but I don't. It's that kind of energy. And so really going to be tested in communication. And the easiest way through this month is going to be really, really communicating. So anywhere where you're biting your tongue or not speaking up or making assumptions, creating stories in your head, that is basically where you're like, how do you want me to say that? I'm just going to say it. Like not passing the test, I guess. It's like where you're not actually taking the opportunity to step into your highest self. And they're showing me like speaking your truth, expressing yourself, putting yourself out there, and, you know, coming from a place of love is the way, is like, great, quantum leap. And it's also how you're just going to magnetize in all of these different opportunities for love in all forms. Like the energy is right there. It feels good. It feels, it's ready. It wants to come in, but like, can I open myself up to that? Like it's all waiting for me 20 steps ahead, and I need to run and get there. And the way I run and get there is I speak my truth, is I communicate clearly. And this is also communicating clearly with your divine team, with your spirit guides, with your higher self, with the universe of like, this is what I want. Help me out here, right? This is what I'm desiring. This is what I'm calling in. Can you let's pull in some divine intervention, or asking for support, right? Like, what do I need to know about this? Can you please guide me through this? There's like this push to just communicate and just say the damn thing, right? And you're gonna get a little uncomfortable, but on the other side of that, you're gonna feel so much freer. Okay. Trust your intuition. Protect your energy, practice patience. So, how do I say this? Okay, whenever we're stepping into these new energies and we are shifting our vibration, people are going to feel that. They're going to feel that vibrational gap, and they're going to try and pull us down. We're used to certain dynamics in a relationship, and when people feel us starting to change, they often will kind of keep us like, hey, no, I like it here. I like this dynamic, because people are afraid that if you start to change, that your relationship is going to get worse, because we just have this association of change is bad when it's not. When in fact, often, you know, whenever you're embodying your highest self and really living from love for yourself, this is going to be for the highest and best of everybody around you. That was weird. There's like a loud noise. I'll just take that as a sign. Yes. Okay. And so noticing where people are going to, like, as you're making these shifts, it's going to be really obvious to you who the energy vampires are in your life. And that's going to be a tough pill to swallow. For some of you, it's going to hit your ego, where you're going to be like, but I love this person, but they're an amazing person. Yeah, you can love them, and they can be an amazing person. And they can also be draining your energy. And so this is where we need to protect our energy and have boundaries. And just because somebody is an amazing person doesn't mean they get to walk all over us and take all of our energy. Because you're going to realize, like, oh, with this person draining all of my energy, this is actually holding me back from all of these other things that I've been calling in. You know, so we're going to have to really, like, face the truth of who those energy vampires are. And this is where the communication is going to come up of like really speaking up what your boundaries are, of like how you can relate and where you can give your time and what's okay and what's not for you. The practice patience and trust your intuition. So whenever we make a bold move to shift the energy, it sets off this like huge ripple effect. And there's all these other like energetic repercussions, I'll say. And sometimes we can think, okay, as soon as I'm ready, as soon as I make the move, as soon as I say this thing, I'm expecting everybody else to just be on my same page. But think about that ripple effect energetically, and not everybody, like it can take the physical some time to catch up, and it can take other people around you some time to catch up, because they weren't the one that initiated that energetic ripple effect. So it's like, oh, I'm getting hit by this. Okay, now I have to recalibrate. And what we can do is we get to the place where we make the realization, we make the choice, we're ready for it, and we're like, yes, and we want everybody else to get on board immediately. But it's like, hold on, like you just kind of have to, hold that frequency, and also understand that it can take time for things to like ripple out and calibrate for other people to catch up to you energetically. And so that's where the patience thing really is coming in. And we can be like, it's not working, or it's too slow. No, it's happening exactly as it should. But sometimes, we're just like on a little bit of a different timeline with the process. It doesn't mean it's not happening, but you have to realize, like, if I'm energetically affecting something 100 feet away and I'm sending out the energetic ripple, it's going to take a second, for it to kind of get to that person. I'm just going to stay in 3D with the analogy there. So that makes sense, right? And just because you're not seeing evidence in the physical, this is what the Trust Your Intuition card is about. Because this month, and especially with these portals, there's so much activation coming. There's so much spontaneous awakening. And that's also with this, the love, the communication, things are going to come in fast, and there are going to be certain conversations you have or people you meet that just trigger you. It just turns on, and you're also going to do that for other people, right? Source works through people. And so there are going to be certain things you hear, conversations you have that they just rip you open, like they just crack you open. They're just showing me that it's like, whoa, that just turned me on. Or there's going to be a sudden realization, an overnight dream. A lot of spiritual gifts are going to turn on. We're like really in that energy this year of like things are pumping on because we're prepping for next year, which is Universal 7. But it's through relationship for a lot of us that we're really being opened up, cracked open, seeing things in a different way, that whole perspective shift. You can have one conversation and the next day feel like, oh my God, I'm psychic, or have one conversation, oh my gosh, I'm questioning my whole life, right? And you're also gonna, with that, intuition's really gonna turn online. And if you're not used to acting from your intuition, it can feel a little scary, because most people think it's going to be this loud booming voice that's so obvious. It's not like that for most people. For most people, it's that subtle thing that you just haven't been listening to. It was that little voice in you all along that you just like thought was a thought, and now it's like, I'm actually going to listen to that thing. And so this is about, just because you don't have the 3D evidence, you don't know how it's going to work out, what's that voice saying? And like, trust the nudge. It feels like you're going to be guided to have certain conversations. You're going to feel drawn to certain opportunities, to certain maybe events or situations. Like, you're going to be drawn places, and you're going to question in your mind. You're shifting operating systems. This is where the miracles happen. And this is what brings you to love in every aspect of your life. And especially with communication, it feels like you're just going to feel this intuitive, I have to say this, I need to do this. Like there's something intuitive about what's happening with the conversations you're having, where you're going to put yourself out there in whatever way. And it might feel really scary, but your gut is going to be like, I can't keep this in anymore. And you're going to get out, and it's going to feel so much better. And that is what recalibrates the whole energy. And that in itself is an initiation. That is you, like, that's an initiation for you of like, I did it, great. And now we quantum leap. So we're really having an opportunity to experience different types of relationships. And when somebody new comes in and they're not codependent with you, do you freak out? Because a lot of us think that codependency means that we equate codependency to, oh, they like me. And that's why it can be kind of triggering for people of like, oh, they don't like me, because they're not codependent. So what does it look like to have a loving relationship where both people are sovereign and independent? And that's the thing that's really gonna like poke wounds, like where we've been so enmeshed, or where we think that codependency equals love. And it's like, oh, I can actually love you deeply and I'm not codependent with you. And most people are like, do they like me? I don't think they even like me, because that person's just not codependent. So we're really having this opportunity to heal a lot of these patterns. And new people are going to come in. So I mean, the energy, I wasn't really expecting that, honestly. I mean, last month was such a strong love month. There's just like this energy, they keep showing, it's like April, May, June. It just feels like a lot of things are actually going to come solid together in June, and we're getting closer in May. And so a lot of these conversations are gonna be had, and because they're gonna be soul resonant relationships, it's gonna shift fast. Like, the conversation is happening right now, and like what you might think is a normal timeline of relationship, like everything's just gonna be smushed in, where you could meet somebody, you could have met somebody in April, and May you're having these conversations, putting yourself out there, and by June it's like, we're in this partnership of whatever form, right? And so we can really collapse the timelines. So people are going to really experience that soul resonance thing, and this different vibration within a relationship. I'm like, that's interesting. This is long. One last, let me just do this, and then I'll finish up in the membership. Well, I was going to do a separate love reading, but I mean, okay, so we are coming out of, we're basically, the energy here, just to wrap this up, we are coming out of this, it's like you've been licking your wounds, like you've been like stressed, tired, exhausted, dealing with drama. It's just like, it's heavy. It's been heavy. It's been pulling everything, but here we have this reverse, right? And so we are finally like healing. We are finally like releasing the burden. We are finally like seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. And I feel like first week or two we're still going to feel like that heaviness and tired and sad and it's going to feel gross like that, right? And then towards the end of the month, especially, and as we go through these initiations where we have that crystal clear communication, right, where we speak our truth, where we live authentically, where we're open to new dynamics, and we're basically saying through our choices and actions and conversations, like, we are telling the universe, this is what I am aligning with now. Okay, this is where things get lighter. This is where it's like victory. They're saying it's victory. That's where it comes together. But we have to, wishes fulfilled. But you have to initiate yourself through those conversations, through putting yourself out there. You're gonna have to show up differently than you did before. Sorry. And like, sorry. People think that they're gonna get a different type of relationship just through the person being different. You have to be different first. You're going to have to put yourself out there in a different way. You're going to have to show up differently in the dynamic. You can't just expect the other person to be different than what you've experienced before. And that's the energetic shift. You are the energetic shift. So whatever you've been afraid of doing in the past in these dynamics, or afraid of being supported, afraid of asking for what you want, afraid of communicating clearly, afraid of putting yourself out there, you're going to have to do that. And on the other side of that, wishes fulfilled. All right. Happy May. It's going to be an epic month. If you enjoyed this, hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment below. If this resonates, and let me know what's coming through for you. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss a future video. If you do enjoy these energy updates, sending you lots of love, and I will see you in the next video.